Hello everyone and welcome to pCloudy's webinar on how to leverage cloud-based remote testing solutions to fulfill your app testing needs. My name is Dinakar and I'll be the host for today. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping rules. Your line is currently muted. However, you can submit your questions during the webinar through the option at the bottom of the screen. We will answer your questions as part of the Q&A section at the end of the webinar, and the webinar is being recorded, and we will send the link of the recording to share with your colleagues later. Let me introduce the speaker for today, Nilesh Tarale. Nilesh is the Vice President of Pre-Sales at pCloudy, and he carries a rich experience of 18 years in varied domains such as product development, testing, and pre-sales. He has worked primarily in mobile application and mobile device testing domain with companies like Saskin, Motorola, Nokia, and Accenture. Without further ado, let me hand it over to the speaker, Nilesh Tharale.
Thanks, Dinkar. Very warm welcome to all the participants. Welcome for the webinar. I hope everybody is doing good in this COVID time frame. All right, so we'll move on to the agenda. Let's see what exactly we are going to see in today's webinar on how to leverage cloud-based remote testing. So the agenda for today is what is remote testing. In the first place, we are going to see what do you mean by remote testing, followed by what key considerations are there which we have to consider when we want to do the remote testing of mobile applications or mobile web applications or desktop web applications, right? The application testing challenges, typically what kind of challenges we face or we have, which we need to consider when we want to perform the testing, be it locally or in the remote testing concepts. We'll also look at the solution which caters to remote testing needs, which is typically pCloudy. So we are going to see how remote continuous testing cloud can be used in this case, followed by Q&A. So as Dinkar mentioned, during the demonstration, during the webinar, if any one of you have any questions or any queries, please feel free to put it in the questions window in the webinar window there, and we will answer those questions toward the end in the Q&A session. Okay, so let's understand and see what do we mean by remote testing. Okay, so remote working is going to be the new normal, and remotely accessible tools and platforms have been playing a key role in maintaining productivity as we are transitioning to the new style of working because of the COVID now, or even in the past because of one or the other reasons, people were working remotely, and now everybody is forced to work remote, right? So in this condition, which is becoming a new norm these days, how are we going to use this particular tools or different platforms? That is what we are seeing. So there are many tools that teams have started to get hang of in order to collaborate and share all the information conveniently over internet. When we are talking about the remote testing, of course we will have to do the whole testing, whole working on the using internet. So pCloudy has stood as a successful platform in being one such remote working tool that has enabled business continuity by providing remote access to hundreds of real devices to test your applications, be it native applications, hybrid applications, or web applications. Yeah. Now, with that said, let's look at some key aspects that make uh, this terms true, which I was just talking about. Yeah. So let's understand the key considerations to achieve successful remote testing. Now, since we understood what remote testing we are talking about, how I mean, all in all, you have to test your mobile applications remotely. You'll have to collaborate with your teams who are sitting remotely. The testing team members themselves are sitting remotely and they're collaborating. So all this ecosystem, how are we going to use it? That's what we are going to see. Now, these key considerations which we have to consider from the enterprises, since the enterprises are shifting their focus from in-house labs to hybrid or cloud-based testing platforms, businesses are more interested in business continuity, okay, and productivity when working remotely. Correct. Now, uh, how does one keep the ball rolling despite the changes of working and from different locations, different time zones, and different environments? That is what the question is. And the answer to this is, of course, the cloud based remote testing platform to scale up your testing efforts and collaboratively working with others, and also go without hassle free from different locations, right, without you practically moving in there. So these are all the answers for the remote testing when we are talking about for any cloud based remote testing platform. Now, when we are considering the cloud based remote testing platforms like pCloudy, uh, there are some key considerations which we have to consider, as we spoke a little while ago. Some of them are listed here, and the first one, I mean, if you really look at it, is basically continuous testing. So does the platform implement continuous testing methodology, as it keeps to speed up the testing efforts and get rid of any bottlenecks of testing, right? So continuous testing is the primary key. We'll have to see if continuous testing is provided by the cloud platform which you are planning to use. That's the first key consideration. The second key consideration we're talking here is about real devices and browsers. So using real devices and browsers would provide an environment that is closest to the user, right? Hence, testing on real devices becomes crucial to evaluate application performance accurately or close to the real performance which users are going to see on their devices, right? That's the reason real devices and real browsers are preferred, and we should be using that instead of emulators, simulators, or something like that. Correct. The next thing which comes in this list is the data and test data management. So having access to detailed test reports is very important aspect that helps in making management decisions to monitor the performance of the application and so on. So test management data is one of the key consideration which we have to understand. Now, both uh, manual and automation testing is possible or not. That's what we have to see with this particular platform. We shouldn't be, though automation techniques is the key consideration, we'll have to see if the platform supports and facilitates to perform both manual testing as well as automation testing. What are the different automation frameworks that are compatible with the cloud solution which you're looking for? Do they have AI compatibility? Do they have scriptless testing features? Do they have any other features which will increase the efficiency as such for your testing products? Right, when you are testing your application, the productivity should increase. You should get maximum throughput with minimum efforts. That is what we are talking about when we are talking about the automation techniques here. Um, is the solution scalable? Can it be used for small teams? Can it be used across different locations? All those things depending on how you are performing, how your team is performing the testing, the scalability has to be looked at. And last but not the least, this is the most important thing, is about data security. The most of the application testing platforms require the application and user data to be shared, right? So now we need to make sure that this data is encrypted and stored with high levels of security, because the applications which you are testing, be it for yourself or for your client, that data, even if it is a test data, it should not leak, it should not get out, and should not be used by someone else apart from your testing teams. Now, this is what is important, whether when we are approaching and looking at the cloud based solution, are these points taken care? Do we have data security in place? Is the data encrypted at rest? All those things has to be securely considered uh, before taking a call to go ahead with any remote mobile device cloud testing platform. Now that we understand what to look for when we talk about remote testing, let's look at some of the challenges which typically we face for application testing. When we are planning to do the application testing, what kind of different challenges typically we face? Now, testing in general brings up various challenges from time to time. If you would have looked at the testing timeline from maybe 10 years down the line till from last 10 years till now, you would have seen that the testing techniques, the paradigm, everything has changed, right? So these challenges have also changed over a period of time. Now, in the current scenario, when we have so many devices available in the market and stuff like that, what is important is the device fragmentation. Okay. Now, device fragmentation is the key. This is one of the biggest challenge which we are facing these days, maybe because of the number of OEMs available, number of different models which are uh, you know uh, uh, launched in the market every day. So because of this, the device fragmentation is the biggest challenge when we are talking about the mobile applications. uh, Frequent OS releases, right? If you'd have seen, as I mentioned, if you'd have gone back in 2007 time frame, when we had only Symbian phones or S60 phones or feature phones, uh, that time the OS releases were not that frequent. After the real smartphones came into market, uh, typically by iOS and later by Android, you would have noticed that everybody's in a race to stabilize their product. Everybody's in a race to give more new good features, right? Even from the OS perspective. So in that race, you would have seen that these days the OS releases are quite frequent. Now, what happens when we have different OS releases? We keep getting a lot of new features. Some of the new APIs gets introduced in this releases. Some of the older APIs get deprecated, and so on. So there are a lot of things which makes and which affects the functionality of your mobile application, and hence your mobile application has to be tested on multiple OS releases, multiple OS versions, and this becomes a big challenge in today's era. Obviously, testing the interaction modalities. See, earlier we had just one single phone without any thing. I mean, we just had keys. Later, the touchscreen came in, and now, if you really look at it, we have got multiple things. We have got different ways of getting the input, different ways of looking at the output. We are just not looking at the display. We also have look at the sound. So our display and sound, both things are used for the output. At the same time, it is not restricted only to the gestures. We have the controllers, we have the voice control applications, we have the headsets, and so on. So basically, we have a variety of modalities available which is needed to be tested from the interaction perspective with the application. So all these things has to be considered, and we have to be aware about this thing. Of course, the cross platform testing, this is one of the common thing in today's era, where we have to make sure that will be testing our applications with different platforms, with different uh, machines as well. Integration barriers, API driven testing, right? Now the time has changed. Now we have to have the focus on the API driven testing. So if that is one of the biggest challenge these days. Agile or DevOps maturity, we'll have to see how. I mean, everybody is uh, moving in a fast-paced world where they want their application to be released in the market very quickly. The turnaround time is very fast, very small. So everybody is moving to the DevOps. So we will have to see how the DevOps are matured. At times, the teams are moving to the DevOps because of the management pressure or something like that. But the DevOps cycle, the DevOps process itself is not mature in that particular organization. Then that becomes a big challenge when you want to test your applications, right? Because when we are talking about DevOps, we'll have to make sure that most of the test cases, most of the testing practices are automated, right? So these are some of the dependent things which we have to consider, or which we are treating as a challenges typically in the testing domain here. Also, the cloud hosted AI services, right? This is what we have to see. This is what is one of the challenge when we want to consider the mobile application testing. Of course, screen resolutions, there are so many devices with different screen resolutions available in the market, and it makes sense to test the application on a variety of screen resolutions. Otherwise, if I'm using the high screen resolution and if it is not tested on that, I may not see the application the way it is intended to be, or I may not be able to use the application the way it should be used by the user, by touch fingers or touch screens, or in a different way. So different screen resolutions is one of the key challenges, and followed by security. So these are some of the challenges which we have to consider, which we have to look at when we are looking at the remote application testing. Now, we have seen the challenges, we have seen the remote testing, how we can do it, what needs to be done, and what factors needs to be considered, what are the challenges. So having said that, let's understand how can pCloudy help in this case to overcome the challenges, or the remote testing capability which I was talking about. So pCloudy is basically, it's a leading continuous testing platform. As you can mention, basically it is a continuous testing cloud that provides users with more than 5,000 plus browser device combinations to test your mobile applications and web applications seamlessly. When I say about mobile applications, it could be native application, hybrid application, or mobile web application. And of course, we have, since it's a browser clouds also, so you can test your desktop web applications. It is not restricting alone to be tested your applications for manually alone. I mean, you can execute your test automations on these real physical devices manually. You can also do it in an automated way. We have autonomous test features which can be used to perform the test automatically. We can also use this platform to run and create the automation test cases without writing a single line of code, which is script test automation. And this platform, as it mentions here, continuous testing platform, it can also be used in your CI/CD module to run your testing in the continuous integration mode, okay, or continuous testing mode. So this is what is all about pCloudy. Will not go much in detail here. What we will be doing is I'll try to take you through the quick snap about the features which we have from the pCloudy's browser cloud and the testing devices cloud perspective. Uh, it will not take more than 10 minutes, but we will just quickly have a look at how these features are provided, what kind of features we provide. But before that, let's quickly see and understand what the digital confidence we bring in, or what digital confidence pCloudy brings in here. Okay, so we provide a complete cloud infrastructure to perform the testing on real browsers and real devices. Okay, when I say real devices, these are real physical devices. uh, the the same mobile phones which you are using for your personal use, the same kind of devices we uh, make it available over the internet, right? And we now as I said, like we do have the real physical devices and the browser clouds. Now we are also hoping to move into the wearables market. We wanted to uh, have the smart speakers, maybe smart watches and so on. Smartwatch is something which we already have support for, but uh, furthermore, wearables is something which we are planning to bring in the cloud in the near future. Continuous testing is the key to test and release quality applications and updates faster, as I just spoke a while ago. Now, various techniques such as rapid automation, DevOps, test analytics, and automation uh, plays a vital role when we are talking about continuous testing. Now, these are all the key pillars that our platform is built on, which enables ultimately the continuous testing for your mobile and web apps. So this is something which you will get it in this product out of the box. Cloud-based remote testing would entitle not just the coverage of various devices, but also the testing the various styles of interactions, right, that one could perform on the devices. So we have kept these interactions in mind while providing the ability to test your application on real devices through maybe touch gestures or voice commands. So we have taken those things in consideration, and we have um, uh, provided those features here. So as a user, when you are using pCloud devices, you may feel that you are actually working with the device in hand, right? The only difference here is the device is not physically in your hand, but you could get the feel that you can actually perform all the possible interactions which typically you would have done it with the device in hand, right? So that is what the capability we bring in here from the multi-experience testing perspective. Now, moving on to the next part, which basically is talking about the browser cloud. Now, what I will do here is I will quickly show you the quick, a small, very small demonstration about how the platform looks like when we are actually talking about the device and the browser's point of view. We will just see, we will not go into much more detailed details about the features and everything. We will just try to see some of the key features and see how you can use this particular platform, and then we will come back to the uh, slides where we are going to see the obvious advantages which we are going to get it for the remote uh, testing of your application on mobile devices and browsers, right? So this is how the list of browsers or list of devices you are going to see it on the pCloudy uh, cloud platform. These are the devices. These are all real physical devices which are available on the pCloudy. You could see the amount of devices wherever you are seeing this. It means the devices in use now. Lot of engineers started moving their work from physical device to the cloud-based devices, and this is one of the reason you are seeing this. And we keep on adding the devices, right? So we will keep on adding the devices here and bring this increase the device count here from these 500 plus devices to some uh, 600 and 700 and so on. Okay, so you can see here devices, you can see the filter which can be used even for grabbing the device from India location or US location. Also, we have different screen sizes, smartphones, tablets, phablets. We have different OEMs. So as I mentioned, like different OEMs, we have to consider. You can find different OEMs from here, different OS versions. So the uh, there are plethora of devices available in the market, right? So you can get all those devices, or the combination of those different hardware and software configurations can be found it from here. So we have Android 4.4 onwards till 11.0. Same way for iOS, we have 9.3 onwards till 14.5. So all these devices you can get it from here. Now, if I just come here and try to connect to, let's say, J7 Prime. Okay, I'm just clicking on this. So when I click on this, this is how you can, this is how easy for anyone to acquire a device. They can simply click on that. They can simply acquire a device. The device will start appearing on the screen here, and users can start using it for their application testing. Okay, let me just unlock the device. I have unlocked the device. This is how you can interact with the device with the help of your mouse. Instead of touch gestures in your hand, you can use the mouse here, and you can use this device as if the um, device is in your hand, right? On the left hand side, you're seeing certain icons, and so on the right hand side, these are some of the key features which we provide, which brings a lot of value. Apart from the normal testing which you're doing, you get a lot of other things here which will bring or add value to your existing functional testing, right? You can pretty much go to install. You can install the application from here. You can go to Play Store. You can install the application from Play Store. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Let's go to Big Basket. Okay, I'm just trying to get some application from the Play Store, and I'm just installing. So when I'm saying install, see, this particular application is getting installed on this. While doing this, if I want, I can simply enable this logs. I can look at the logs. I can monitor the logs here itself. All color coded logs will be displayed. This is one thing which, while doing my application testing, I can monitor it here. So things are coming so handy that you don't have to really worry. When I'm doing a normal functional testing, when I launch that particular application, I'll be doing certain functional workflow, right? I'll be logging in, I'll be placing an order, I'll be seeing if it is showing the right slots available for the deliveries and stuff like that. I mean, these are some of the uh, I can say the functionalities of this particular application. So when you're doing this, when you're performing normal functional testing, you can also understand, you can also get the performance statistics. Let me just launch this particular application. When I say open, this particular application is getting launched. Now, if I go to the right side, go to the analysis, click on this thing, it will show me the application which I have installed. Now I have installed Big Basket application. If I select this application, here you can see, you can monitor the performance, memory usage, the CPU usage, the network usage, and the battery usage by this particular application which is under test. So all this vital information, you are going to get it, right? So this is a big value add, I would say, when you are doing a normal functional testing of your application. So when you are doing a normal functional testing, you are also getting this thing. Now, there are applications these days, most of the applications are uh, location aware apps, right? They use the location, and then they start giving you certain things around that particular location. Now it has taken, this is the default location. You can zoom in, you can, if you're not able to read properly, you can see this is the default location. Now we have an inbuilt feature which is basically location. You can simply go and select any location on the earth, right? So, right, I am in Australia here, so I'm just going to Melbourne, and I'm just selecting something from here. Let's select this particular location. So when I click on this, the corresponding lat long information is picked up and it's set. So this is given to the device at the device API level, right? So for the device and the application, as if it is coming from the uh, device antenna. Now, if I just go and ask the application to choose my current location, it will start showcasing me the location which I have chosen from the map. Of course, the Big Basket application may not work in the Australia. That's a different story. But you could see now the same map, whatever I had shown, that was considered. The device is saying, the application is saying that the device is physically presented here. So this kind of geolocation can be performed using this. We have network simulation. We have a variety of networks available here. You can see a different network with different network parameters. You can simulate 2G network, 3G network, 4G network, and so on, with variety of network parameters changed by throttling the Wi-Fi network capability. So if you want to see how your application behaves on 3.5 GHz, you just click on this shape and that's it. So this way it will help you to uh, simulate different network conditions, different locations on this thing. You can change the language settings, you can toggle the Wi-Fi, you can make the Wi-Fi on and off, you can perform the debugging of your mobile web applications using Chrome debug tools on the mobile browsers. You can also use the different URLs, right? So if I'm using testing or doing the testing of mobile web applications, I can simply say let's open Amazon.com. Okay, and here if I go to the browser list, okay, on this particular device there are restrictions on the browser, but usually we will show you the list of browsers here, which is with the different versions, like Chrome itself with 2 or 4 or 5 different versions, Firefox, Mozilla, and so on. So we can simply go and click on launch, and that application, that particular browser will be launched here, and you can perform the test on that. We also have inbuilt capabilities to even test your barcode and QR code kind of applications by injecting the QR code and barcode from here. We have Touch ID feature, which will help you to simulate the Touch ID on your application and unblock you to go inside and perform the testing. You can change the screen orientations. You can capture the screenshot. You simply say click on this, and the screenshot will be captured, which will be available here itself, which can be downloaded, deleted, or edited. If I click on edit, this is how 1:1 pixel screenshot will be shown to you. Right, generally it will come with the skin. If there is an issue right now, I believe this device the skin is changed, so they are changing the skin, I believe. But yeah, you can see something like this. You can go and you can change, you can mark it. If I want to just say that maybe this icon is not right, so I can actually highlight the area which I wanted to showcase. I can put a meaningful name, I can save it with more name, maybe wrong icon, and confirm save. So this way I can actually edit the screenshots, I can capture the artifact. These artifacts will be available with you in the pCloudy, as we said, the test management, right? Data management. So all the artifacts will remain there with you. Now, the best thing here is when we talk about remote testing, the teams are working remotely, right? We have to see how are we collaborating? How are we able to collaborate? Because when we are doing remote testing, collaboration is a big challenge. Now here you see we have already provided a button called collaborate, and if I just go here, you can see you should be able to share these screenshots or anything else directly in your Jira. You can share it with your Slack, you can share it with in your GitHub, depending on what your teams are using. Right, when I say Slack, for example, it will show me all the channels, whatever we have it here. I'm whatever Slack channels I am using, all those things will be listed here. But of course, to use this, you have to go to the pCloudy settings page, provide your login credentials for the Slack, and then you start seeing it here. So with this, you should be able to share the screenshots. You should be able to share whatever you want, right, with your teams. And in a true sense, you can collaborate with your team. You can, when you are creating the automation, you can go to the default mode, you can go to the object spy mode, you can get the objects of your applications, and use those for performing test on your use those objects to create the automation test case, right? All these things is pretty much possible. Now once you are done with your testing, you can simply release this from here, and your data, you would have seen that warning, the data on the device will be cleaned up, it will be removed, so that your data protection happens. No other users will see what exactly the previous user has tested on this particular device, right? So that's how you can use any of this device, be it Android or iOS, pretty much same, all the features will be there. Now moving on to the next part, which is basically the browsers, right? Acha, before we go to the browser, as we said, like we have the reports folder wherein you can actually go and see all your reports, right? Whatever testing you are doing, even if it is now the demonstration I have shown is for the manual testing, where I can go and connect to a device and perform the test. Same way, you can actually go to the automation. You can actually go, uh, use the automation testing frameworks, maybe like APM or something from your Eclipse, and trigger the test on multiple devices parallel. Now, that's the beauty here. When we are talking about the automation, it is not only running the automation test on pCloudy devices, it's basically running the execution of your test cases on multiple devices parallelly. Okay, and this is how you are going to get some of the test results. Like, this is the device which I have used at this time, and if I just open this, this is how you are going to see all these things. We have the battery, memory charts, whatever we were observing, that everything is documented, everything is captured, CPU, pretty much everything. And then we also have the snapshots. These are the two snapshots which we have captured. The one which we have captured, this is the one which we have edited. I can download it from here. I can also get the logs, I can also get the videos. So you are not restricted only to get these things. The logs will be automatically captured. Even if I'm not monitoring it there, the logs will be automatically captured in the background. It will be available to me in this format here, and also the session video. So I'm not going to lose anything. In a true sense, it is in a collaborated way. I can also share this report as is with any of my other stakeholders by simply clicking this button here and creating a link and sharing that link with any other user. Even if they are not part of pCloud, you should be able to see the same thing what I'm seeing it here. So that's the way to collaborate. Let's move on to the browsers cloud quickly to understand what kind of browsers we provide, what are all things you can do it here. So we are showing you providing you multiple browsers on multiple versions of the browsers on multiple OS platforms, right? Like, we have Windows 8.1, we have Windows 10, we have Mac machines with various versions. We have Big Sur, Catalina, High Sierra, and Mojave. Yeah, so we have multiple platforms available here, and on every platform we also have a different uh, OS versions, right? Sorry, browsers, right? With different browser versions as well. So, for example, if I wanted to connect to, let's connect to Microsoft Edge on Windows 10. Okay, so I have 89 on Windows 10. I also have same version on Windows 8.1. So, depending upon which device I'm looking for. If I want to connect to this, for example, so if I just connect to Windows 8.1, this is how the browser will look like. So the interaction page is pretty similar as we have seen in case of that. This is in case of device. This is how you can see it. Now the default, that particular browser, Microsoft Edge 89.0.7, is available from the India location. It can also be opened from the US location, as we mentioned. And this will be the default page which we have seen. But in case you want to move it from here to maybe bbc.com, you can just write this, and that particular page is open. You can actually go through this whole page. You can scroll down, you can scroll up, you can do whatever you can do with the device on your local machine can be performed on this particular devices, on this particular browsers. Now the primary thing here which you should be noticing, or which typically we perform when you are doing the testing on the desktop web apps, is testing the application with variety of screen resolutions, right? So here, if you can just go and click on this, we have provided multiple screen resolutions. What you have to do right now, by default it is 1920 by 1080, but if I want to do it on 800 by 600, I just need to select that. Once I do this, you don't have to change anything from your local machine. You just need to use this feature which we have provided, and you can see that whole browser will start appearing into 800 by 600, or let's say 1280 by 720. So depending on what resolution you're looking for, that resolution you can set uh, uh, with just a single click. If you are capturing the screenshot, let's say in this particular screen the things are not coming the way you are looking for, you simply click on screenshot, and we will capture a screenshot which will be available in the gallery, right? So the whole screenshots, whatever you're doing on this, will get captured, and if you go to the gallery, you can see that particular screenshot. Again, you can go and edit the screenshot as we have seen some time back there. Let's say this particular thing, or maybe whatever this particular space is unused by this platform, by this website or this application. When we go to this particular screen resolution, that is the issue I have found. So I can actually say with this, whatever, maybe wrong placement, let's say wrong placement, and confirm save. Right, so this is how you can actually use this. And of course you can also use you can also collaborate with your Jira and Slack from here as well. So in a true sense, you have the collaboration even for these browsers. We also have something called WildNet. This is again there for both mobile and browsers. This is typically for testing your staging environments, right? So since these browsers and these devices are not in your environment, these are in our data centers, and your staging environment may be is available in your lab. So you can use this WildNet feature to route all the requests from this device or from this browser to your local machine, and in turn from your local machine to the staging server. So that way you can achieve the testing of the staging environment using both devices and the browsers, as we have seen. So these are some of the key features which we have seen for the browser cloud as well as the mobile devices, right? So if you really look at it now, the obvious advantages for the browser cloud is, of course, on when you're using with pCloudy, you get the unlimited manual and automation testing hours. You get real Mac and Windows devices. You can do or perform the test with natural interactions. You don't There are no simulations or emulations. You can also get the web application performance statistics. You get access to the detailed artifacts, as I mentioned. You also get the remote staging server testing done with the help of WildNet feature, which I mentioned towards the end. And you can also see we have easy integrations with Selenium. So in case you want to run the automation on these browsers using Selenium, it's just a click away. You have to just put the six capabilities of pCloudy with your username password, and that's it. You're done with the integration with Selenium of your existing test code. Same thing we have seen about the device cloud. And if you see the device cloud advantages with pCloud is, again, you're getting unlimited manual and automation testing done. You get over 500 plus real devices, and if you see the device browser combination, it's more than 5,000 plus. Automation tests for natural interactions. On these real devices, you get different devices, different OS and manufacturers, and of course the different versions of the device as well as the OS. You get access to detailed reports, including screenshots, logs, videos, and the performance metrics as well, in case you want that. And you get access to the local SIEM enabled devices in case you are using certain devices from India and you want to do a test on your real network using maybe Vodafone or Airtel. You can do that, right? And we have the easy integration with APM. So in case you want to run the test using APM, you can pretty much run the test using APM. So when for APM, no, you have to have the test code ready with you, and you have to add certain capability-based code there. Uh, I think we have 2 more minutes we can spend on that. So what I can do is I can quickly show you this part. So these are some of the sample projects available. You can get those sample projects from pCloudy's GitHub location. Now, if I just come to first sample project, which talks about TestNG with pCloud and multiple devices for Android, same thing holds good for iOS as well. Now, if I just come here, let me see if I can just increase the size for you to see. All right, so this is the runner class where you are seeing the uh, method called prepare test. Now, this is nothing but initialization method wherein you are initializing the driver for your cloud URL, right? So if you're running it on your local machines these days, you must be putting in the IP address there, or maybe 127.0.0.1 colon the port number on which your APM server is running. So you'll have to just replace that with this URL if you want to run it on pCloudy public device cloud. And rest of the capabilities, these are the capabilities which you might be already using it in your cloud, in your automation things, right? So that is needed by the APM, which you can continue to use. Apart from this, you will have to use this uh, lines of code which I have highlighted. That is just for you to integrate your existing frameworks or code with pCloudy. And these capabilities are very simple. It is just talking about your username API key, that is to authenticate yourself with the cloud. You have to provide the application name, which application you want to automate, for how long you want this device to be booked for your automation execution run, be it 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 or 3 hours. You can just put that in minutes here. And if you want, you can, if you're unsure about the time, maybe if you don't know the exact time, but let's say it may take anything from 3 hours to 3.5 hours, you can provide 3.5 hours or 4 hours for that matter. Once the test gets executed, the device will be released anyways automatically. Sorry. Then you can select whether you want to uh, pick up a device based on the device manufacturer, device version, or device full name. And later you can enable or disable the performance, right? Even for the automation test execution, we can capture the video, session video, as I have shown you for the manual testing. Same session video can be captured even for the automation. So if you want that to be enabled, you'll have to make it true. If you want the performance to be captured by pCloudy for your automation execution, CPU, memory, battery kind of data, you can make it true. And if you want the logs to be captured, you have to say true. This logs will not only capture the device logs, this will also capture the APM server logs and APM logs. So the whole artifacts, you can get it by making it enable. So with this few lines of code addition, uh, you're done. If you add these things in your code, you're done with the integration for your APM. And same thing holds good for your Selenium code as well for the browser. So this is how we are providing the easiest way for you to integrate with pCloudy. So with this, I would like to take a pause here, take a break here, and move on to the next slide, which is basically talking about the Q&A. So if any of you have any questions for this, please feel free to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer these questions. Okay, so a lot of questions are coming in here. Just give me a moment. I just need to open that Q&A tab and start answering the questions. So, okay. Whole lot of questions are there. Let me quickly read one by one and start giving you the answers. Okay, let's take the first question from Karthik. Okay, what automation frameworks are supported? Okay, so currently, as I mentioned, we support by default all the open source frameworks. Like for mobile, we support APM, we support Calabash, we support um, test XUI test, okay, and Espresso. So these are the open source test frameworks which we support at pCloudy for mobile. For browsers, desktop browsers, we support Selenium. Now, in case you are using any specific customized framework or any paid test frameworks, you'll have to let us know. We'll see how feasible it is for us to integrate that, because pCloudy is basically a API based platform. So integrating it with any other framework is not a challenge. I hope I have answered your question, Karthik. There is a question from Mohit. He's asking, can I run automation on Android and iOS parallelly? Mohit, yes, you can run the tests in parallel for Android and iOS, but not in the same cycle. When I say same cycle, uh, let's say you have executed the code which I had shown you a little while ago. There I am giving capabilities for Android. So if I run that on 10 different Android devices, it will run on 10 different Android devices. But if I want to run the same test cycle for Android and iOS together, that is 500 devices and 5 iOS devices, that is not possible because the infrastructure for iOS and Android is different. So you can practically run two different test cycles, one dedicated for Android, the other dedicated for iOS. And in those individual test cycles, you can have a number of parallel executions for a given platform. I hope you're clear, Mohit, with the answer. If you have any questions or further clarification is needed, please let me know. A question from Paramjeet. Can I debug my application using my IDE? Paramjit, I don't know which IDE you are using it, but most of the IDEs we support. So any IDE you are using it, if you want to debug your application using your IDE, you can pretty much use it. We have a feature called uh, iOS Connect for an iOS devices and device tunnel for Android, which you can use to virtually connect the device to your local machine. Once you use this feature, the device will be virtually connected to your local machine, and your IDE should recognize that device as a device connected to your local machine. And with this, you should be able to test your application, sorry, debug your application using your IDEs. There is a question from Shubham, how to install demo applications. Okay, Shubham, if you would have connected to the device, you would have seen the device on the main page, right? The device interaction page. On the right hand side of the device, there is something called install button. So if you click on that install button, you will start seeing the demo applications, whatever we have provided in the with your login, right? So you just select that application from that pop-up. When you click on the install button, we will show you all the applications there, and on the right hand side of every application there is an install button. If you click on that, that application will get installed on the device, and it will also be launched. The application will also be launched for you, which you can uh, start your testing immediately. Hope I have answered, Shubham, your question, and you can try that on pCloudy. Okay. uh, there is a question from Arjun. Can I use Charles proxy? I'm using uh, Charles proxy currently for my testing. Can I use it with pCloudy? Okay. Um, Arjun, you can use Charles proxy. As I said, like we have a couple of features available with pCloudy, right? As I said, device tunnel. Same way, we have a feature which is uh, which is called WileNet, right? The one which I have spoken towards the end. So you'll have to use both the features, WileNet and the device tunnel feature. And if you connect it to any device and use these two features, all the requests will definitely come to your local machine. One second thing, the device will also be shown as connected to your local machine. So in case the Charles proxy, which is running on your local machine, needs that device to be connected to your local machine, that can also be done. And since you're using WileNet, all the requests which are going from the device is routed through your local machine. So with this, If you set the proxy as a child's proxy, the whole internet requests from that device will actually go to the child's proxy, and you will get all the necessary data from your own child's proxy instance. I hope I have answered your question, Arjun. Okay. There are a few more questions here. What we will do, I mean, most of the questions are from the automation side. So I'll take one question. Hopefully, this will be the last question, and rest of the questions I will answer directly to the people who are asking these questions. Okay. The question here is about automation. When I'm creating the automation, can I get the whole object tree from pCloudy, or I need to use additional tools like APM Desktop? This is the question which is asked by Sangeeta. So Sangeeta, you can use the additional tools like APM Desktop from your local machine in case you want. In addition to this, we also have the object spy feature. You would have noticed when I have shown the devices demo, at the end I'd said that there was something called object spy mode, right? So if you use that object spy mode, you can actually open the device in the object spy mode and launch your application and start the object spy mode. Once you do that, the whole object tree of your application's view will be shown to you next to the device. You can either click on the object tree or on the device screen, and corresponding element will get highlighted with all the necessary attributes which is available with the application, whichever your developers have used it. Now once you get that information, you can actually copy that uh, from pCloudy and use it in your test code while creating the automation test cases. Okay, now this works for native applications at this moment. Hybrid applications is something which we are working on, but for native, it will work for both Android and iOS platform. I hope I have answered Sangeeta to your questions. You can try this. If you have any further queries or questions on this, please drop us an email and we'll get back to you. Okay, so with this last question, I would like to conclude. We are running short of time. There are a few more questions which is unanswered. I will be answering those questions personally, directly to the members who have asked these questions. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have enjoyed the webinar. If you have any further questions, reach out to pCloudy team and we will get back with all the possible answers to you. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye bye.